What I've learned living in this country for this long is there are so many restaurants. The one thing that's lacking in the hospitality industry right now is hospitality. My thing is when somebody walks into my restaurant, he or she is a celebrity. Thank you. I will see you soon, okay?
I don't want you to go.
Yeah, I don't want you. You don't want me to go? Okay. Okay. Okay.
112 and 63.
Food is very communal. It's to be shared with people, and it's a good way to break down barriers and to get to know other people. You know, it's fun.
Service, please. Happy hour spicy fry, happy hour shumai, happy hour fritter and prawn and pineapple.
We are a Southern American food story that happens to serve Thai food in Tennessee.
In a landscape peppered with chain restaurants, originality isn't always on the menu. But here in Nashville, there's long been a taste for one-of-a-kind culinary creations. Think hot chicken or goo-goo clusters. So thanks to curious customers and hungry tourists, international cuisine has found a home in Music City. And they're serving up some local staples, including bold flavor.
Cheers.
Cheers. Rich legacy.
Because of this, we call it the breaking of the bread.
And unwavering hospitality. That's incredible. And the spice is not too much.
Okay, good.
But it's definitely there. If you've spent much time near Belmont University in Nashville, you know about International Market. They opened their doors in 1975, a time when there wasn't a proven demand for international cuisine in this town. But Win and Patty Mintz had a vision. They were both from Thailand, but met in Nashville.
When he met Mom, she kind of gave him an ultimatum.
Oh.
I think she's the one that proposed, right?
Basically.
So she was like, she's like, I'm basically the best thing that's ever gonna happen to you, and if you don't marry me now, I'm gonna go back to Thailand. And
wow.
so a deal was made. And she ended up getting married to my father in 1975, the same year they opened up International Market. So really my dad kind of had a vision as well. He wanted to introduce some kind of commerce in the Asian community that was not yet existent in Tennessee. And my mother was like, oh, this is my background. This is what our family did in Thailand.
Okay.
I know how to do this. Let's go.
What was the service like at that time with the market and the steam table and everything?
So the service back then, it was called International Market for a reason, right? In market being in the name. So a big part of this was the products that you could get at International Market that weren't common in American grocery stores. A big battle of that was that they couldn't sell the products because people didn't know what it was. So our mom started cooking the food, putting it on a steam table, made it approachable in a way kind of like how a meat and three is in Southern cuisine, which isn't uncommon in Thailand. Actually, it's actually a way of eating in Thailand called khao gang, where you get rice and you scoop some curries and stews on top. So a very similar business model as a meat and three, but she just did it with Thai food.
Oh, that makes sense. So people who already have that meat and three culture are just like, oh, different meat and threes, but I love it.
Exactly.
That makes total
And people would buy the
sense.
cans of stuff that she brought in.
And it also opened up people's palates to trying new and different flavors, because if they could see it, then they had an idea of what they might be trying.
Totally. Whereas if you just hand someone a menu, though, I'm not sure what I like.
Exactly.
It's like tasting the ice cream at the store.
Yes.
It's like you get 10 samples and you finally buy one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're hooked. I love it. How did both of you start getting involved in the business? Were you pretty young? Were you just kind of watching mom and team and wanting to get in there?
You know, most kids want to leave the nest quickly and do summer jobs, but for us, it was kind of grandfathered in that our summer jobs were in the restaurant. We had no choice.
It was summer camp.
Yeah, it was our summer camp.
Yeah, that's what we did.
We both experienced it, having to work the cash register.
Even like going out to eat, like the same thing about the math. Like my friends would always just be like, figure it out, like tax and tip and everything, because I could do it so quick, like early on.
Yeah, so that's the business savvy side of how we were raised, right? Which kind of translates into this, but also like the food side for me specifically. I was born a couple years after the restaurant was open, and the ladies in the kitchen basically raised me. I spent every moment after school there. I built forts and tents in the market side, climbing rice bags. Every birthday party was there. I played with food mostly as a kid, mainly because I was bored of the food she was serving. So I would get in the kitchen and kind of explore myself. I always was exposed to this world at a very young age.
And then I was born 10 years later after the restaurant opened, and unlike Arnold, he was like very interested in the food. I was interested in the business and the money.
Okay.
And it kind of explains a lot of like our relationship here because I love staying up front. I loved dealing with the customers. I loved making the change. I loved counting money and like making stacks. I loved going to the bank with my mom. Like, it just translates so well to how we are as adults now, is that he's the chef and I'm the business side of the restaurant. And I also deal with like all the customers and the people because I truly love it. And he truly loves what he does in the kitchen. So
That's amazing.
It translates
So
as a great
complimentary.
yeah.
The Mint sold their original location to Belmont University, and the restaurant closed its doors in 2019. But after working as a buyer at Macy's and living in New York City for years, Anna realized that what she enjoyed about this work in retail, she could get at international market. So Anna and her mom developed a plan to work together for the next iteration of the restaurant. Unfortunately, Patty Mint passed away in 2018 and never saw it come to fruition. But she knew Anna had a vision to carry on the legacy. During this time, Arnold had become a celebrated chef, so naturally Anna tried to lure him back.
Now, what sold me to come back initially was the fact that we're opening up international market again. And I'm the one in the family that knows the recipes and that cooked. So for her to be able to, the money is one thing, but we had to have the proof in the product.
I mean, there was also negotiation because he wanted to do more than Mom's Hotline. And he was like, I can do so much more. Like, I can be more creative. And I was like, fine. Because international market is the hotline. So we'll keep that as lunch. And then international market 2 can be dinner. And that can be your baby.
Yeah.
And so that was the negotiation to really get him, hooked him in.
I have no doubt at all that your parents were incredibly proud of you and would be blown away by what you've built here. What has it meant to you to be able to carry on their legacy and make it your own?
It means a lot. The stories are stories I never heard before from customers that still come in. We have families from different generations coming in. Like, the grandmom brings their daughter, who we were their first Thai food experience, and now they're bringing their daughter. And so it's just been really sweet to see that we're introducing this cuisine to the whole family. Kind of makes us feel like we're part of their family. And when we first opened, it was actually kind of tough because I was hearing the stories were flooding in. When we first opened, we were busy. I couldn't stop what I was doing to hear a conversation. And also these conversations, because again, I'm in the front of house, so I'm taking it all. They would start crying, I would start crying, and then I was like, what am I doing? I can't do this. My therapist suggested I get a sheet of paper and just hand it to everybody and have them write down their story. So that's what we did the first couple months we were open, is on their receipt, their bill, we handed them like, what's your international market story? So now we have a stack of stories that if I'm ever wanting a little pick-me-up, I get to go read and I actually get to listen and hear it versus someone telling me and me just kind of like blanking.
Oh, that's beautiful. What a gift to have too, to be able to pass down.
Yeah.
Tell me more about certain popular dishes. What would you say are kind of the top ones that people order, and what do you think they love about them?
Oh, that's a trick question.
Oh, I didn't even know.
So what do people order the most isn't exactly what we most pride ourselves on.
Okay, well, I'd like to hear both then, yeah.
So, you know, you think of a Thai restaurant and you have some go-tos. So obviously we have a dish that's number 30 on my menu, right? The way
30.
I design it, but it's the number 1 on the order list, which is kind of, it's a little bit of a struggle, but that's okay, I get it. It's pad Thai. I don't really advocate for that. It's just a gateway dish for, and it really is.
Okay.
If you dig deeper, it was a government kind of propaganda from Thailand to introduce Thai food to the world. So for me, it's one of these, I call it the pumpkin spice latte of Thai food. But because you're in our walls and you came in, we have other things to offer. Now, our signature dishes that we're most proud of, I mean, we're in Nashville, right? And I think it's pretty ballsy to say that I have a fried chicken on the menu, that why would you put a fried chicken on a Thai restaurant in a city that's known for fried chicken? Well, truth be told, there's fried chicken in almost every country, and there's actually a city in Thailand called Hat Yai that serves and is known for their Thai fried chicken. So that's kind of our new signature move, is that Thai fried chicken. The things that we're doing and playing with within these walls are definitely Tennessee cooking traditions with Thai flavor. We do a lot of braising and smoking, like barbecue, of our meats. We have a beef dish and a duck dish that's basically a slow stewed Thai flavored soy braise, but then we throw applewood smoke onto it. So it almost gives you that like barbecue hint with the Thai sass. I also love that in the work that we've done with media and press, Publications like Southern Living shouted us out for being one of the top Southern restaurants. My cookbook even being a top 5 Southern Living cookbook, but I'm not making ham biscuits with pimento and cheese. I'm doing Thai food. And also when the James Beard Foundation gave us a shout out as a significant restaurant in the South, are we a definition of Southern cuisine or the landscape of what Southern food is? And for me, that is really cool because we are. We are a Southern American food story that happens to serve Thai food in Tennessee. So for us to have that identity, more so than the accolades and the trophies, is so significant to what maybe my mother unintentionally put out there in the world, but unquestionably deserves.
It's hard to wrap your head around the number of international market stories Nashvillians have accumulated over the past 50 years. But there's another place in town where I also see stories racking up pretty quickly, and that's 615 Chutney. They celebrated 5 years in Bellevue in 2026. The owner is Nirup Prabhakar. He's a Southerner now, living in Tennessee, and he was a Southerner in his home country, India, growing up in Tamil Nadu, the country's southernmost state.
615 Chutney is more than a restaurant. It's a cultural experience around food, and Nirup is your tour guide, you know.
I came here the first week they were open to get takeout, and I came back in for a sit-down meal about 2.5 months later, and Nirup greeted me by name.
I'm not a huge lover of heavy spice, and Nirup took that to heart. He gave me a nickname. He affectionately calls me Baby Spice. So, and so he always takes care of me.
Nirup's created this community where we come together and share the good things in life, not only food, but also art and music and great conversation.
How is your menu different from what Tennesseans might imagine when they think Indian food?
I said, okay, let's have our cuisine focus on just the South Indian items.
Because that's where you're from, is South
That's
India.
where I'm from. And living in the United States since 2007, I've always noticed that every restaurant that you go to, it's the same tikka masala, it's the same butter chicken, and the very, very basic, usual menu items with naan. Our cuisine is, being from the South, the curries by default are dairy and gluten-free. So we do not add heavy cream to mellow down the spice at all. So even a mild curry will have a little bit of a sting to it. So the moment you take dairy out, automatically you'll get flavor. I would say Indian food being spicy is a myth.
Whoa.
Yes, it is flavorful. It has direct impact of cinnamon. It'll have ginger, it'll have cardamom in it, it'll have black pepper, it'll have cloves in some items. So when that is there, automatically everybody thinks that it's too spicy, so they order a chicken tikka masala. Back in the day when nobody was exposed to South Indian food, this was the only go-to. Because if somebody says, oh, my food is spicy, chicken tikka masala is given with heavy cream added to it, sugar added to it to make it a little sweeter and less spicier. So everybody was like always into chicken tikka masala, which is basically from Scotland.
Tell me more about that real quick.
Yeah, we know that chicken tikka masala is not from India. So chicken tikka...
I don't think most people do know that in Tennessee. So
No, not everybody knows that.
We're clarifying a misconception right now.
Oh, yeah. The story about chicken tikka masala is it was invented by an Indian out of Scotland. Yes, so even in my menu, there are a lot of items where I'll have the name of the origin of that particular item. For chicken tikka masala, it'll say Scotland.
It says Scotland because it is from an Indian person, but not from India.
Yes,
Okay,
and people who come and ask for chicken tikka masala, we do give them chicken tikka masala. My team offers them chicken tikka masala, but that'll be the first and the last time they'll eat chicken tikka masala in 615 Chutney. So we try to do a lot of our own curries and then
So you're kind
make
of
them
broadening the palates and what people think of when they think of Indian food.
Yes. And then we are a certified non-Indian restaurant. So that's another thing which you would not expect it. So, you know, so our restaurant, since it focuses on South Indian cuisine, the bread that we focus on is called parota.
Parota, not naan. Okay.
Naan. My friendly
Yeah.
name for my parota is naan.
Naan. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Have to try that.
the naan, it kind of came into the Indian subcontinent when the Mughals invaded the country. So that came from a different region of the world, from the Middle East, from Afghanistan, from Iran. So that's
Yeah.
where they have naan being cooked in a clay oven.
Yeah.
So our cuisine kind of is from the south, and it originated from Sri Lanka. The bread came from Sri Lanka.
Okay.
The Tamils, the people who speak our language, they moved from Sri Lanka up to Tamil Nadu and India. They spread that bread out. So, and that is not cooked in a clay oven.
Okay.
That is grilled.
And the texture, I mean,
And the
it's
texture
different.
is it's a flaky bread that has the texture of a croissant, and it's completely vegan. I can guarantee you even now that after you eat my bread, you're not going to eat naan for the rest of your life. And if you still do, I will
words.
give you my bread free for life.
Ooh.
Yes.
I like how this deal is working out for me. Oh man. Chicken tikka masala who? We don't know her anymore.
I've got some paneer curry fresh. The whole thing when I do 615 chutney, a very Indian affair, it means that I'm serving food which you do not get anywhere else. And it sticks to the cuisine. So every curry comes with rice and bread. That's literally how we eat at home. No, we do not garnish the food. Our food is not camera friendly, but it's tummy friendly.
I love it.
Nirup wanted to fully embrace being in Music City, so he had a stage built at 615 Chutney, and he invites artists from various genres to come play on the weekends. He has regular bingo, paint and sip, and trivia days. And to support the local arts community, he's created a gallery space where you can see and purchase original works of art.
It seems like you're always thinking about ways to add value and just make it a really unique experience in addition to great food.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to talk to you about your approach to hospitality because I know that's so important to you. And what does it mean to you to really offer a spot with rich hospitality, and how do you go about it?
Service comes from the heart. And what I've learned living in this country for this long is there are so many restaurants. The one thing that's lacking in the hospitality industry right now is hospitality.
And it seems, just from having watched you, that you know a lot of the folks that come in and they're regulars, and you know a lot about their story and have engaged with them. They know you, and it's kind of, I don't know, a familial or friendly vibe around here.
Yes, when somebody walks into my restaurant, he or she is a celebrity, which means that I should know them personally. Not being nosy, but in a way that I'm thanking them for the time that they've spent researching about 615 Chutney, driving to this place. So it's all about respecting their efforts to come and support me. I get to know them as a family. So everybody who comes in gets a hug. Everybody who gets in here gets service like they're being treated at home. It's a guest who walks into my home, and that's how I welcome them. So that's why they come back. Bye. Love you.
Nashville's food scene is the best it's ever been. And that's all thanks to the talent and creativity of people like Haran Taraklian and Elizabeth Endicott. This husband and wife duo have been adding flavor and class to the city's culinary landscape for years. So it's no surprise how they met.
So we had a friend that did some catering, and she always wanted the two of us to date, but Haran had another girlfriend, and life was just moving along until they finally broke up. And she put us on two of the same catering gigs because it was kind of a side hustle for us. You know, we had full-time jobs, but we would just work for her because she's a friend and it was just help, right? And the whole time she was like, Haran, ask her out, ask her out. And then he finally did. And that was that.
Yeah. She knew something that you all hadn't discovered yet about compatibility there.
For over a year, she was ready to put us together.
I love that. So you mentioned Middle Eastern cuisine, obviously that's the focus here. Haran, would you tell us a little bit about your background and cultural heritage?
Yes, my dad's side of the family is Armenian from Lebanon. My mom was from East Tennessee, and they met in college and moved overseas and had sister and I over there. My dad's side of the family, being Lebanese, Armenian, originally from what used to be called Western Armenia, which is southern Turkey. So there was a lot of this influence of different cuisine, Armenian, Turkish, Lebanese, Syrian, all just kind of in our house. And then my mother, who from East Tennessee had never seen this before, like really fell in love with it. And so when we would make meals at home, that would be the food that we would cook predominantly. She's also German-Irish, so we had a lot of that food as well. But
a lot of variety then.
Yeah.
So it sounds like with both of your backgrounds and experiences and so many diverse restaurants that you've worked in, you could have opened a business, a restaurant with any kind of food. Why was it important to you to go back to your Middle Eastern roots with this place?
Aside from the fact that we think it's the best food and everybody should enjoy it,
okay.
There wasn't a lot of Middle Eastern restaurants in Nashville at the time. And we felt like that would be a good way for us to kind of make a name for ourselves.
So when you all first opened then, was it kind of success right off the bat, or did it take a while to ramp up? Tell me about those early days and what you tried.
It was rough. Since we had both worked in Nashville for so long, we knew so many people, we just felt like it would be a little bit more buzz and excitement, but it wasn't very busy in the beginning. I don't think people really understood what modern Middle Eastern was. Yeah. And we had a lot of people come in thinking that they were going to get a kebab platter with rice and their tzatziki sauce, and and not that that isn't delicious, but that's not what we do. And then in about a year and a half, we really noticed that every night had a lot of energy, and the weekends were really great. And we started doing these fancier dinners, and those would sell out really fast. Feast of the Middle East dinners.
I want to hear more about Feast of the Middle East. Tell me about what that is, how it's grown, some of your most noteworthy nights in your opinion?
We draw influence from so much of the Middle East, and so much of our menu is kind of a combination of these different culinary traditions. We thought it would be fun to do a night where we just focused on one culinary tradition of one country or one region.
I think it's just really important to come together in community and share what's really beautiful about this culture and see that there's so much more to this than what we hear in the news. And I'm so grateful that Chef France loves to bring these cultures to life on these nights of the Middle East.
And it's family style, right? So people are coming in who don't necessarily know each other, and they're sitting at the same table.
Yeah.
And that's part of the experience too then.
Yeah, it really is. It's nice to sit at a table and break bread with people that you don't necessarily know. You can build some relationships and learn different things from people that you're kind of forced out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, and actually, I do know of several of our regulars that have become friends because of the Middle East dinners. Didn't know each other before, and now go out to dinner, once a month with each other. So
you're really making community connections through food then.
Yeah. Food is very communal. It's to be shared with people, and it's a good way to break down barriers and to get to know other people. And you're sharing, a common interest, a nice meal, and it's fun.
It's amazing. And it's a really beautiful event, and love that you all are doing that, and feel like thinking about the competition in Nashville, that's not something that I see many other people doing in this city. So it's really cool.
Well, one thing about two owners working in a restaurant is we're here all the time. We can do fun, special things without having to go up a food chain to get permission.
Yeah,
we can do what we want.
Yeah.
While the Feast of the Middle East meals are only available for the event, Lyra's menu is seasonal and constantly evolving.
So you're very busy, I know, but you opened another restaurant. Would you tell us about that and how it's similar to and different from Lyra?
About a year and a half ago, we opened up Vega Shawarma. It's kind of like a sandwich shop, so very classic, like shawarma, and you got chicken and beef and lamb, a little bit more of a casual kind of spot. But, everything's still made fresh, daily, in-house, fantastic bread.
Equally delicious in its own way.
Yeah, but just a little bit more of a casual spot.
Elizabeth, you shared a little bit already about some misconceptions that maybe folks have. They're expecting kebabs or whatnot, but are there other misconceptions or just preconceived notions folks have about Middle Eastern cuisine that maybe we could clear up on the program today?
One of the misconceptions is that it is a very monolithic cuisine, that it's just, hummus and bread and kebabs and rice. But it's not. There's a lot of variety to it, and there's a lot of nuance in the food. It's very, very detailed and can vary so much depending on where it's coming from in the Middle East. you're going to come in and find something that you probably haven't had before, and you'll be very pleasantly surprised by it.
What comments have you heard from folks who maybe are trying their first Middle Eastern dishes about surprise or what stood out to them?
One of my favorite comments of somebody who was very off base but enjoyed it nonetheless said he didn't really know Indian food very well, but this was the best Indian food he ever had.
Oh no.
Which was a compliment, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We don't expect people to come in
Yeah.
and know the cuisine. A lot of times we'll see people like secretly trying to Google things on their phone
Yeah.
because they don't understand the terms, and we don't expect them to. A lot of the food is relatable. We have a fetair on the menu that is, it's kind of like a calzone. It's a stuffed bread, but the name kind of throws people off at first, or there's just different things like that that it's just food that's delicious and warm and spiced, and it's comfort food for sure.
When folks come into either Lyra or Vegas Shawarma, what do you hope that they leave with?
Full belly and a smile.
A full belly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't ask for much more than that.
Yeah.
These are just 3 of the remarkable restaurants helping shape Nashville's culinary landscape. And maybe that's the real story. How fortunate this city is to be filled with people willing to share their culture, their traditions, and a little piece of home with their neighbors. If you enjoyed Next Door Neighbors, Global Flavors Shaping Nashville, you can check out all our Next Door Neighbors content on the free PBS app. Later, neighbor.